Welcome to the Aligning Science Across Parkinson's CRN 2025 Scientific Track Funding Opportunity webinar. In this video, we will provide background information on the ASAP initiative before discussing the CRN 2025 funding opportunity. We will also cover how to apply for this funding opportunity, next steps, and provide an overview of additional information. The Aligning Science Across Parkinson's initiative, also known as ASAP, is a global research initiative managed by the Coalition for Aligning Science and implemented in partnership with the Michael J. Fox Foundation. ASAP is focused on understanding the underlying science of Parkinson's disease with a goal of amplifying and coordinating efforts around the world, both within and outside of the existing Parkinson's disease community. We envision collaborative and transparent research processes and environments that deliver faster and better outcomes for Parkinson's disease. As such, our mission is to accelerate the pace of discovery and inform the path to a cure for Parkinson's disease through collaboration, research-enabling resources, and data sharing. ASAP is driven by four major objectives, which are to change our understanding of Parkinson's disease and funnel new ideas into the R&D pipeline, to ensure the work we fund can be leveraged by others, to facilitate rapid and free exchange of ideas, and to establish a strong, diverse global pipeline of the next generation of Parkinson's disease researchers. The ASAP initiative supports three programs: the Collaborative Research Network, the Global Parkinson's Genetics Program, and the Parkinson's Progression Markers Initiative. ASAP is also committed to supporting the generation of tools and resources, and all ASAP programs are built upon strong open science policies. In addition, ASAP is proud to be part of multiple consortia. The current funding opportunity is for the Collaborative Research Network, which we will discuss in more detail over the next few slides. The Collaborative Research Network, which we will refer to as the CRN moving forward, is an international, multidisciplinary, and multi-institutional network of collaborating teams working to address high-priority research questions. The idea behind the CRN is to reinvigorate the research pipeline, to accelerate discoveries, and push the field forward to meet our ultimate goal of identifying new targets and mechanisms that can be used for translational studies and commercialization. The approach by which we move from idea to result is through supporting ambitious high-risk projects, encouraging diverse perspectives, embracing openness and transparency, and ultimately changing the way that science is done. Currently, CRN teams are funded to study three major themes related to Parkinson's disease: Parkinson's disease functional genomics, which focuses on unraveling the functional biology underlying mutations associated with Parkinson's disease; neuroimmune interactions, which focuses on dissecting the impact of the neuroimmune system; and circuitry and brain-body interactions, which focuses on assessing how the brain and areas outside of the brain communicate with each other throughout the course of the disease. Two additional tracks, a scientific and technical track, will join the CRN in 2025. The CRN 2025 funding opportunity, which we will cover over the next few slides, gives members of the scientific community the ability to apply to join the CRN for either of these two tracks. The main objective of the CRN 2025 funding opportunity is to support higher-risk, ambitious projects that require additional capital to spur discovery for Parkinson's disease research. As mentioned on the last slide, funding will be split into two tracks: scientific and technical. The scientific track is focused on supporting high-priority research projects to dissect the mechanisms that contribute to Parkinson's disease heterogeneity, while the technical track focuses on the development of novel, sustainable tools that can be used to accelerate validation and therapeutic R&D for emerging targets that have been identified through ASAP discoveries. We will start accepting LOIs for the scientific track in January 2025. However, the LOIs for the technical track will not open until later in the spring of 2025. Please note that this video will focus on providing information solely regarding the scientific track. A separate video for the technical track will be made available at a later date. Over the next few slides, we will discuss the CRN 2025 funding opportunity, specifically regarding the scientific track. CRN 2025 calls for the scientific track are centered around dissecting the mechanisms that can contribute to Parkinson's disease heterogeneity, with a specific focus on the following mechanistic areas. Examining Parkinson's disease in the context of aging. Age is a well-established risk factor for Parkinson's disease. However, it is still unclear how aging-influenced processes contribute to the underlying pathogenesis of Parkinson's disease. This call would support discovery efforts to understand pathogenesis and progression of Parkinson's disease in the context of biological aging, exploring whether targets for aging-influenced processes are involved in changing the timing of onset and rate of progression of Parkinson's disease. Understanding how co-pathologies can influence Parkinson's disease pathogenesis and progression. Human postmortem data has demonstrated that co-pathology exists in Parkinson's disease, Lewy body dementia, and Alzheimer's disease. This call aims to better understand the mechanisms that impact the drivers and downstream effects of co-pathologies in the context of Parkinson's disease development and progression. The role of known environmental risk factors in contributing to Parkinson's disease pathogenesis. A number of environmental factors, including pesticides, industrial chemicals, and other toxins, have been linked to an increased risk of developing Parkinson's disease. This call seeks to understand how various suspected environmental triggers influence processes implicated in Parkinson's disease and/or novel pathways not previously linked to Parkinson's disease. Understanding the circuit biology driving clinical symptom presentation, with an emphasis on non-motor symptoms. Parkinson's disease is largely identified based on the hallmark motor clinical symptoms of rigidity, bradykinesia, and tremor, but clinical presentation varies widely and non-motor symptoms can be equally or more debilitating to patients. This call will prioritize applications that can connect preclinical and clinical dataset findings to better explore and understand how heterogeneity in Parkinson's disease circuit biology manifests as symptomatic heterogeneity. The role of clearance mechanisms in Parkinson's disease. Considerable evidence supports the hypothesis that alpha-synuclein aggregates may initiate organelle damage and precipitate events that lead to dopaminergic cell death. Although progress has been made in defining the nature of this damage and identifying factors that may connect the damage to neuronal death, the challenge remains to define those unique targets that may offer opportunities for therapeutic intervention. ASAP will prioritize applications that address the role of these mechanisms in mediating Lewy body pathology and selective vulnerability of dopaminergic neuron populations. Identification of risk factors that influence alpha-synuclein seeding. The introduction of the alpha-synuclein seed amplification assay has revolutionized how we think about biological staging of neuronal synuclein disease for Parkinson's disease. However, the exact alpha-synuclein species detected by the assay, whether there is an additional cofactor required to initiate seeding, and the assay's relevance to Parkinson's disease is largely unknown. This is a call for conducting a comprehensive biochemical and biophysical assessment on human brain tissues and other biomaterials to better characterize the seeding agent. To learn more about what is in scope versus out of scope for each focus area, visit our website. On the scientific track page, scroll down to the Areas of Focus section. Here you'll find information on all 6 sub-themes. If you open up the accordion, you'll find information on the call, as well as more details on what is in and out of scope. Please be aware that if you submit an application that does not fall within one of the 6 sub-themes, it will be out of scope and will not be considered for funding. The scientific track will provide funding of up to $3 million per year for a period of 3 years. The LOI application process starts on January 15, 2025, and will close on March 20, 2025. There are a few additional requirements associated with this funding. Projects supported within the scientific track must have a tie to human Parkinson's disease biology. These are team-based projects, and all teams must have a composition that falls within team makeup requirements. Additionally, successful applicants must agree to follow all of ASAP's open science policies. We will cover each of these components in more detail over the next few slides. All projects supported within the scientific track must have a tie to human Parkinson's disease biology. This means that all projects must demonstrate the relevance of the biological discovery to human Parkinson's disease. This can be through the generation of a disease biology hypothesis using human data such as genetic data, clinical data, or biomarker data, and/or validation assessment of biological and mechanistic hypotheses in human biospecimens, and/or leveraging human PD-relevant models to improve translatability of biological hypotheses. Some examples of programs that generate and/or utilize human cohorts and datasets include the ASAP CRN, GP2, and PPMI programs, the Michael J. Fox Foundation, and the UK Biobank. Applications are not required to leverage ASAP-funded resources while putting together the LOI. Any cohort, collection, or data resource that adheres to the above criteria will be eligible. The CRN is based on collaborative team-based science. A CRN team must include the following: 3 to 5 principal investigators who all have either a PhD, MD, or equivalent degree. An appointed lead known as the coordinating lead PI. The coordinating lead PI must have an academic appointment and be in an independent faculty position, or serve as a senior staff scientist in the private sector with responsibility for leading collaborative research projects. At least one early career investigator in the position of co-investigator. Teams need to be multidisciplinary with at least 2 different disciplines represented. Teams must be multi-institutional with 2 to 5 participating institutions. There is an exception to this requirement. The 5-institution maximum can be exceeded if, and only if, an ASAP team has a collaborator that is employed at a different institution from the core leadership members. Up to 1 additional sub-awardee institution can be allowed in excess of the 5-institution limit, for an absolute maximum of 6 institutions to account for collaborators employed elsewhere. In addition, all core leadership members are expected to allocate a minimum of 25% time and effort to the research project. All teams must have a project manager to monitor team milestones, manage data, liaise with other funded teams, and ensure compliance. ASAP is built upon strong open science policies. Awarded team members agree to follow all of ASAP's open science policies. The policy has 5 key components. 1. Share research outputs. Data, code, and protocols generated as part of an ASAP-funded study must be deposited in a discipline-specific, community-recognized repository by the time of publication, with accompanying information to facilitate reuse of those outputs, and a license that allows for reuse. Key lab materials generated as part of an ASAP-funded study must be registered by the time of publication to facilitate findability and reuse. 2. Identify research inputs. Data, software, protocols, and key lab materials used in a study, but which were not generated as part of an ASAP-funded study, must be unambiguously identified in the study's publication. 3. Ensure immediate open access. Preprints must be posted no later than the date a manuscript is submitted to a journal for review. Preprints and publications must be immediately publicly available with a CC BY 4.0 or CCO license, and include an availability statement outlining where all research outputs, requirement 1, and research inputs, requirement 2, can be accessed. 4. Acknowledge ASAP. Manuscripts and other research outputs that were partially or fully funded by ASAP must acknowledge ASAP. For those within the Collaborative Research Network, the ASAP CRN affiliation should be included in the author byline for all authors who receive funding from ASAP. Manuscripts must include an ORCID for each author within the ASAP network. 5. Share outputs with the ASAP network. All ASAP-funded research outputs, including manuscripts, must be shared on the ASAP grantee virtual platform no later than time of publication. Manuscript drafts must be sent to the Open Science team no later than the time of preprint. How can you apply to the CRN 2025 scientific track? Applications for funding will occur in 2 stages. In the first stage, interested applicants will submit a letter of intent. The letter of intent document outlines the proposed team, the justification for how the project aligns with ASAP goals, and why the project is important for Parkinson's disease research. Letters of intent will be reviewed, and projects that are within scope and of interest to ASAP will be invited to Stage 2. Stage 2 of the application process is submission of a full proposal. The full proposal application will allow teams to provide an in-depth overview of information on the project, including rationale, experimental plans, budget, and the team members involved in the research. A template for the LOI is available on the ASAP website. The template will provide teams with more information on how to provide ASAP with project details, including a description of the project, a summary of the team members, and any figures or related data. The LOI will be submitted through the Grants portal. If you have never applied through the Grants portal, please click the Register Here button. Find and add your organization and complete all contact information. You will then be prompted to set up your login information. Please log in and complete submission of your LOI. If you have applied through the MJFF Grants portal in the past, input the email address and password associated with your MJFF portal. If you cannot remember your password, select Forgot Password and look for an email that will ask you to reset your password. Once you have reset your password, please log in. If your email does not work, please register as a new user. If you experience any issues or have any questions, please contact grants@parkinsonsroadmap.org. What happens next? LOI submissions for the CRN 2025 scientific track open on January 15, 2025. LOI submissions are due on March 20, 2025. In early summer 2025, projects of interest will receive an invitation to submit a full proposal. Full proposals will be due in late summer 2025. Teams that are awarded funding will be notified in late fall 2025. Some frequently asked questions. Can a researcher be named as a co-investigator to more than one pre-proposal? Yes. However, be mindful that all core leadership are required to devote 25% time and effort per project. Are institutions outside of the U.S. able to apply for funding? Yes. International researchers from across organization types are eligible to apply. We accept applications from all countries and consider them equally to U.S.-based researchers. Are private biotech pharmaceutical companies eligible to apply for funding? For-profit entities are eligible and encouraged to apply. Should a budget be included at the letter of intent stage? No, a detailed budget is not required at the LOI stage. Please submit the ASAP CRN LOI template and fill out the online application form to complete your LOI submission. Is the team required to have a project manager? The coordinating lead PI is required to budget for a project manager. This person assists with day-to-day coordination of all team efforts to maintain a high level of functionality and communication. Need more information on ASAP? You can learn more about the ASAP initiative by visiting our website or by reading some of our prior publications, including information on our approach to basic research in Parkinson's disease, our blueprint for open science, and how we actually implement our open science policies. Thank you for viewing our video on the CRN 2025 scientific track funding opportunity. For more information, please visit our website or contact grants@parkinsonsroadmap.org.